Okay, we're recording. Awesome.
Well, just
How's it
click
going,
on that.
everybody? How's it going? This is Max over at Evolving Leaders. I'm here with Kev Webster, who's a client of ours, and recently, some time ago now, sent us a testimonial celebrating his wins in the program. And yeah, I figured we'd jump on here and share how's it going with Mr. Kev. So it's great to have you here, Mr. Kev. How you doing?
Yeah, good to be here. Yeah,
Good
going
stuff.
going well. Now I've launched my own program with my own clients, and we're well into well, we're not quite halfway through 3 months, but we're almost getting there, and absolutely brilliant. Some real wins and some amazing amazing breakthroughs that people are having, which is really good. And applying the practice, the system, the methods,
Mhm.
and adapting them for for sort of my clients and the way that I work, which is the thing that I find is probably the most beneficial, is
Mhm.
that I can take what I've learned from you, Max, on the course, and then kind of evolve it
Mhm.
in my own for my own way of working, which I think that for me has been quite a big breakthrough, really.
Amazing.
It's not a cookie cutter kind of approach,
Mhm.
which you often think of when you're joining a sort of training program. But I think the way that you teach it, then you allow people to then make it their own as well.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I'm glad you mentioned that as well because it's really like having a simple, quote unquote, simple system that allows room for that evolution because we're all different, right? And yeah, I love that you shared that earlier before we started this recording. We were talking about that, right? But
Yeah,
I also want to like jump into like how far you've come, right? In 3 months when we were working together in that first bid, and
yeah,
some of which was really filling up a wait list to a program that you haven't even made yet because majority of people they do it backwards, right? They spend a
mm,
year or getting books published, doing podcasts, they make their program and they haven't even had a client for that yet or package of
yeah,
sessions and stuff, right? So I'd love to if you could share a little bit more with our audience about that because I think it's super inspiring that to see that here's a hypnotherapist and a coach and a marketer, and he's created this program at the end after getting the clients for it, which is shouldn't be unorthodox, but it is these days, right? So
yeah,
if you don't mind
yeah.
kind of sharing a little bit about those wins and that kind of how that's been for you.
Yeah, I mean, I started to see results. I think you'll remember after about 4 weeks,
Hmm.
I started to get some real traction. Once I was applying, really the whole sort of philosophy of it.
Hmm.
And I even remember saying on one of the calls, one of the group calls, wow, this stuff really works.
Hmm.
And I don't know why I was surprised,
Yeah.
but because it's very logical and very simple.
Hmm.
And I think that, I've been in internet marketing for like 15 years,
Hmm.
and I've come to realize that I was overthinking a lot of it.
Hmm.
And I've done a lot of different courses on from a lot of teachers and gurus and all these different
Hmm.
systems. I've followed a lot of them, and had coaches as well. And the thing is with this system is that I started to get results literally instantaneously
Hmm.
because of the approach. And I think it's all down to the approach. It's one of those, value based approaches. So, as you
Hmm.
say, a lot of people are writing a book and then they know when I've got a book, then I can build an audience. Well, I started building an audience very early on, and a couple of people have said to me, "Hey, what did you do? You're everywhere," kind of thing. And
Hmm.
and I'm
Hmm.
like, "Am I?" It was a bit of a surprise to me. I was just following a system.
Hmm.
That was the discipline. So I think what I lacked was the discipline
Yeah.
and knowing the direction to and where to apply that. So it's working smartly, really. That's what
Yeah.
the one of the biggest realizations for me was. It was working smartly and it was fun
Hmm.
as well. It didn't feel like work.
Hmm.
I think I remember saying to you that I turned it into a bit of a game in a sense. Um,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
and it was fun. I was applying, and my audience was getting great benefit from it.
Yeah.
So there I am with my hands wide open, giving
Yeah.
lots. And in the background, I'm also receiving
Hmm.
lots in return. So that philosophy is if you come with your hands open, you can give and receive.
Hmm.
And I really embodied that. But the course allowed me to do that and to do it and to just pace it along in a very organic way. Very unsalesy.
Hmm.
Because I know people are really resistant to sales nowadays. I am.
Indeed. Yeah.
People are always trying to sell you things,
Hmm.
but a value based approach, and it is proof that it works. But as I say, I've done lots of studying in the past for different
Hmm.
courses, and the thing that I didn't get from them
Yeah.
was a system that was structured and achievable.
Hmm.
And this was structured. It was a system, and it was achievable. And I say, I don't know, not everybody achieves, as quick as what I did. And I know that I was coming from maybe a slightly advantageous position because I had already got a lot of marketing knowledge
Hmm.
there. But I really embraced it, and it suited my personality perfectly.
Yeah.
And from a growth point of view, it's opened me up to do more,
Hmm.
to enjoy it more, to give
Yeah.
more. People are forever saying, "Oh, bloody hell, Kev, you're really generous with your time and with what you're sharing and everything else." Um, so that's a virtuous loop because I love doing what I do, and as you know already,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it pays.
Hmm.
But the thing is, without an audience to give to, then you're kind of like you're in an auditorium with nobody sat there for your performance. Well, the lovely thing is what you've taught me, what the systems taught me is how to build that audience in quite
Hmm.
an organic, in a systemized but organic way. So yeah, I mean that is a massive part of it, really.
Amazing. I'm so pumped, man. I'm so pumped about all that. And that's really it. It's like was sharing on the live today, like building the audience is really like that's the garden, right? And that's where it's
Mm,
like you nurture it, you grow it, you do it in a value-based way. Like you're not going to grow a garden if you don't provide value, right? And
mm.
so, yeah, that really resonates. So, do you mind if you can like kind of bring us up to speed on sort of where you are kind of today and what are you most excited about the next few months and moving forward with the journey so far?
Yeah, so I'm taking 10 clients through this coaching program that I've evolved now.
Hmm.
And that's a 13-week program.
Hmm.
And so now what I'm doing is and I mentioned it in a post this week, I'm sharpening my axe again. I'm learning
Hmm.
some new skills. And what I'm going to do is actually evolve this into a 1 year program
Hmm.
where I deliver a lot of it with video, with group coaching and with one-to-one coaching. So, I'll
Hmm.
scale it from having 10 people
Hmm.
to my target really will be to have 100 people
Hmm.
join that. But the great thing is they're in it for a year,
Yeah.
so it suits different um, learning speeds.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to get comfortable being on video, they might spend 2 months really honing those skills, where somebody else might already have those skills and they can kind of top up the skills on that and jump onto the next part. So it
Yeah.
really will be, in a way, it's customized, but it's all there.
Yeah.
But they
Sweet.
can they can suit themselves. They can tap into it and suit themselves. With me giving them accountability. Now, the biggest thing, and I should mention this earlier, the biggest thing is that our calls that we had every week, that
Yeah.
accountability calls, was probably the the kingpin in everything.
Accountability.
And, and that's what my clients are saying to me now. The accountability, without that accountability, they just wouldn't be doing the
Yeah.
work. But it goes further than that. It's accountability and encouragement and
Hmm.
support, and having the right resources. So yeah, it's really exciting. But if I look back on my business over the years and where
Hmm.
I've been the guy who helps other therapists, hypnotherapists, kind of market their business. And then I saw an opportunity last year when we chatted, and at first I was dead cautious, to be
Hmm.
honest. I was thinking, is this another kind of system? I
Yeah.
mean, come on, I've been in the internet marketing world for 15 years. I've seen it all,
Hmm.
the promises. And then we had a chat, and then I thought about it. Then we had another chat because I'm from Yorkshire, so I'm pretty
Hmm.
tight with committing myself to anything. And
Yeah.
um, and then I saw the value in it, and I just jumped in, and that caution was immediately sort of quashed when I started seeing the results. I mean, it may be rare, but I know that I got my money back within
Hmm.
the first month.
Yeah.
And to me, that was pretty mind blowing, to be honest.
Amazing.
Because
Amazing.
I've got these skills forever now.
Yeah.
And now
That's
I'm
the
talking
thing.
about and now I'm talking about scaling.
Yeah.
From 10 clients to 100 clients.
Hmm.
But the great thing about it is that I know that I won't be spending an awful lot more time
Hmm.
than what I was spending
Yeah.
because I know how to deliver what I need to deliver, and whether it's video or whether it's one-to-one or whether it's group. So I'm getting a real good. I mean, the group that I've got now are fantastic.
Yeah.
And they're teaching me, because this is it's two-way traffic, this
Totally.
process.
Yeah.
And they're teaching me what they need, and everyone learns at a different speed, and it makes me appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
So it's exciting for the future. I mean, this is life changing, and I don't mean that lightly. I
Yeah.
mean, this is life changing on a scale beyond what I comprehended maybe a year ago.
Amazing.
So,
Amazing.
and as I say, I don't say that like it really is. It is, when sometimes people say I need to pinch myself to
Yeah.
kind of let me know it's real.
Yeah.
I said that in the first 6 weeks, didn't I?
I remember that. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you know what? Speaking of that, speaking of results and us pinching ourselves, right? Just so we can share that with everyone here. If you don't mind sharing, with that first offer that you did about the program and filling it before I even like conceiving or creating it, like what was the revenue from the program from people that are on the wait list for that, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, I don't mind sharing at all. So I put my program out at 1,500 English pounds,
Hmm.
and I got 10 people signed up
Hmm.
for it.
Hmm.
So that gave me 15,000
Hmm.
revenue to work over them 3 months. And obviously, I've got my other business as well. I've got my
Yeah.
hypnotherapy clients. I've got my other marketing clients.
Yeah.
The lovely thing is, it hasn't impacted on the time that I can give my
Amazing.
hypnotherapy clients or
Yeah.
my other marketing clients. Nobody has suffered.
Yeah. Nobody.
So it's been
Amazing.
very, very time efficient as well.
Amazing.
That's the thing. And the great thing is, I've got, hypnotherapists and people from other niches. It ain't just hypnotherapists. I've got hypnotherapists and other niches um, out there
Hmm.
starting to get and build their own audience and starting to get results. But I think the real, when you see the real growth is that when people haven't been in front of a camera before,
Hmm.
and I would say, I'm scared to death of being on camera and how people will view me and everything. And then to see them within just a few weeks, just
Crushing it.
blossoming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely blossoming, being natural, and really, yeah, really owning the camera.
yeah.
That because I know that that's going to help them sell their services
Hmm.
without any doubt.
Yeah.
And I find ways of coaching them through that process. I'm the audience, and they'll
Yeah.
get on a Zoom call and we'll record it. And I'll say to them, look, I'm an audience of one person.
Hmm.
Sell me your services in a way that's non-salesy. And they'll do it.
Hmm.
And then we'll take two, take 20, take 100, whatever it
Yeah.
takes.
Yeah. Whatever
But
it takes.
exercising that muscle of realizing it doesn't have to be perfect. And that's the other thing
Mhm.
that you taught me in it, that, and I'm not a perfectionist, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It just
Mhm.
needs to be done, and then remaster it and do it again, and then
Exactly.
test something else out.
Yeah.
and adapt it. You know,
Hmm.
I wouldn't want lots of mini me's out there, you know,
Hmm.
and that isn't what you've created by what you've taught. You've
Hmm.
seen me take it, run with the ball, and adapt it to my skills
Yeah.
and my approach and my, you know, my values. I've
Yeah.
applied all those things to it, and that's what I'm encouraging my, you know, students to do is to own it.
Hmm.
I'm giving the framework.
Yeah.
Now they're putting the flesh on the bones, as it was, and they're creating their own, you know, their own dreams,
Yeah.
like I am doing this. So yeah, it's been incredible, and
Yeah.
you know,
That's awesome.
I'm very grateful that our paths crossed.
Mine too. I know. It's been a blast, man. It's been really, really good. Our talks with audiences know on the inside scoop is like we can go on ramble together for quite some time, way past the time, right? So I guess kind of like last question for you, Kev, right? Like when you think back to, because you mentioned briefly about where you, before starting and taking some time and stuff, kind of where you were before you started in the Impact Accelerator, right? And you think of somebody who might be in sort of similar situation or kind of like, I don't know, maybe like on the fence or just kind of looking to do something but not being sure, right? Like what are some of the biggest kind of takeaways you'd want the audience here to kind of understand?
But what I gained from it, I guess, is the main thing is direction.
Hmm.
It's kind of effective action. So
Hmm.
instead of like spinning my wheels, and you know, I know about, you know, email marketing, I know building websites and all those things, doing the graphics and everything else, but actually putting it into a system,
Hmm.
systemizing it and sticking to it was the biggest thing. So what it did is it gave me focus
Hmm.
so that my time was spent. And I don't like the term smart working because I find it a bit patronizing, but
A little bit, yeah.
you know, it just meant that what I was doing,
Yeah.
everything that I did was effective.
Yeah.
That was it because it was following a procedure, a framework. Everything that I was doing was being effective because you give the guidelines of right, you do this and you do that and you do this and you do them in them orders. Whereas sometimes, you know, I'd be doing something for weeks or months and I'd be thinking, I'm not really getting any results to this. And it may have been that I was that close to getting results.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't see that there was, well, this is part of a process and you've got to do this in order to get there before you
Yeah.
can do that. This system gave me the process.
Mm-hmm.
And so with 100% sort of confidence and faith in it, I started to apply it. And then almost immediately, they, it's kind of like the jigsaw started to come together. So
Yeah.
if anybody's out there looking at things and thinking, well, I don't know where to start, well, it's kind of like at the beginning of the right route.
Mm-hmm.
That's where to start. You know, you take it, you step onto the first step, and you know that it's going to take you in the right direction. And that's what this has given me. It's put me on the first step in the right direction. So all of those things that I knew and the new things that I've learned
Mm-hmm.
just all distilled into producing, you know, amazing results. Um, and I do honestly think it's, you know, it's results that might have took me 5 years
Mm-hmm.
to achieve. Had I tried to work it all out myself,
Yeah.
you know, I'd like to think that I'm quite smart at backwards engineering how to do things. But
Yeah.
to be honest, you know, I would probably overcomplicate it, whereas this was a lot simpler, really. You know, it's to be honest, you know, I can break this down, and I have for my clients into 3 steps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then each of those 3 steps have, you know, component parts to follow.
Yeah.
And once you're in that, you feel like, oh well, I'm confident that what would happen, was said would happen, is already happening. And then
Mm-hmm.
so the next steps happen, and then that's, you know, and it just like with my group, my private group, you know, I built it to 400 people.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, you know, that was slog, that was work,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that was a lot of work each day.
Yeah.
And then when I got to 400 people, all of a sudden it started to grow more organically because I was seeing that people were inviting people. And then it
Yeah.
got to like 700. And then the
Hmm.
people I see joining the group now, and now it's up to like 1,100 people. I mean,
Hmm.
since September, now
Hmm.
it's grown to like 1,100. But the last 400 people really have been organically come through Facebook, putting it in front of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Referral marketing for your vision,
yeah,
right?
it's scaled. It's almost like I've put that side of the model to one side, thinking, right, now I've got it to there. The traction, the momentum, I can put that to one side because that's going to work itself now. It's a bit like YouTube marketing. You get to a certain
Hmm.
level of subscribers, and then all of a sudden you
Snowball.
pop it up everywhere. Well, that snowball effect, and I saw
Hmm.
it. 400 members that I got in there, then another 300 that the members had invited, and then after that, it's like, where are these people coming from? Every day
Yeah.
I'm getting 10 people asking to join it every day.
Yeah.
And so that kind of, you see that happening across all parts of the system, that
Amazing.
it's got that natural kind of evolution to
Yeah.
it. And I know that
Yeah.
my students are already telling their friends and their colleagues about what they're learning, and that
Yeah.
they're already reaching out to me and saying, when are you doing this again? In fact, I had
Yeah.
a client today who I built a website for about a year ago, and I didn't even mention it to him. He knows that I'm doing it. He said, "Oh, and by the way, the next time you run this course, put my name down for it."
Hmm.
Which was
Hmm.
like, oh, that
There you
you know
go.
that was nice
Yeah.
to that was nice to hear.
Yeah.
So the word is spreading, which is amazing, really.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, thanks. That's exactly like that's a great share, right? And I want to I just want to thank you, man. I want to thank you for the value you bring as well, right? Like it's been amazing working with you and to hear your story here for the audience as well. And so basically, for everyone that's watching this, if you see yourself maybe in the same place that Kev was back when he was first starting, and you're kind of maybe sick and tired of not having a structure or a system to book and sign clients and do it to the point that you get referral, like people refer other people online. You don't even know about these people to your business, right? Having a what we call a client acquisition system where you don't waste time or money doing things that you don't need to do, and that you can be financially focusing on what you're good at, like working on your business versus in it. If that's something you want to chat about, then shoot me a message or just shoot me below this video a DM. You can write down below in the comments info, or just shoot me a message in the inbox, and we can have a quick chat just to see if we can help you as well. I would love to support you and hold your hand and get this kind of momentum in the same way we did for Kev. So until then, we'll talk to you later, Kev. Thanks so much for jumping on here. It's been a pleasure as always, brother. And
Yeah,
we'll be in touch.
same here. You
Awesome.
take care.
Take
Okay.
care.